I'm your host, Davida Shinsky, and you're listening to Live Without Limits, Reach Personal Success on a person, excuse me, Reach Personal Success on a daily basis. The purpose of this podcast is to cover relationships, mental health, psychology, and how it all relates to the laws of attraction and retraining your thoughts to begin to think more positively in our lifetime. Relationships is one aspect of that. And for many years, we never understood what healthy relationships truly are. And that's why when you look back at the 20th century and the early part of the 20th century, when in essence, men went out to work and women stayed at home. There was a semi balance. But once women started taking more of an equal role in the relationship, because roles were so defined back then, it created a lot of problems and it also brought out the fact that there was a lack of communication. And with that lack of communication, there was a breakdown in relationships, and often men abused women and got away with it. Therefore, today's presentation is titled Five Sure Signs That Your Relationship is Healthy and Happy. No relationship is perfect. I think that's something most of us can all agree with. While they may not be perfect, we sure do prefer happy and harmonious relationships, ones where you feel valued, respected, and safe. How happy and healthy do you think your intimate relationship is? On a scale of 1 to 10, what would you rate it? If you're not sure how your relationship is doing, the following are the signs that your relationship is doing just fine, healthy, and happy. So, what are the five relationships that are healthy and happy? Well, the first thing is that you're able to be yourself. And that means that you can see yourself for who you are, and you also can relate to the facts of life and how you as an individual can overcome and deal with certain aspects of your life. Often we don't even realize the things that we do or how they affect who we are. And let's quickly go over this and talk about it and see how you as individuals can come up with the things that can help you in your healthy relationships. Often because we don't even realize where we're coming from or how we deal with certain relationships. They can be the, the things that you look at when you're overcoming or dealing with personal ideas. But let's get into that. And here's what we need to see that what is a healthy relationship? You're able to be yourself. Being able to just be your authentic self is in your relationship is a sure sign that it's doing well. By authentic, I mean that you feel safe and comfortable enough to be your real and raw self, including your flaws, flakiness, moods, and so on. Usually, in the beginning of relationships, we tend to put our best foot forward. After all, we don't want to scare people away with our idiosyncrasies, insecurities, flaws, and so on. Plenty of masks are worn in the early months of the relationship. However, over time, you should be able to be more authentically you without having to worry that your partner will run and vice versa. Your partner should be able to authentically be who they are without you judging or shaming or running and so on. Well, often when you think about the early part of relationships, what are they? Well, that's usually considered to be the honeymoon stage because that's when you're first getting to know each other. And often we don't even realize the things that we do that affect how we see ourselves in a relationship. Your communication skills are up to par. A sign of a healthy and happy relationship is having a solid communication skills. That means that no one is walking on eggshells, afraid that if they speak up, there will be just too much conflict to cope with. This also means not having to repress emotions, lie, or repeat yourself 100 times to get your partner's attention. Your partner should be the one person in the world that you feel safe enough to talk to about anything. And your partner should feel the same about you. If you're struggling in the communication department, the good news is that there are some helpful communication skills that you both can learn. It will take a commitment to reading books, articles, videos, or seeing a couple of therapists, but totally worth it. Communication is key in any relationship, whether it's business or whether it's personal. And often in the past, couples did not really communicate. They had certain expectations in the relationship, and that's the way the relationship went for years. You both feel free. Being in a relationship doesn't mean that you have to feel like you're in a prison or having no freedom. If you're feeling like that, you're likely dealing with some codependency issues. What you're airing or whether what you're aiming for is an interdependent relationship. This means that you're both able to have a solid sense of self inside and outside of the relationship. You may depend on one another for some of your needs, but not all the time. Practically speaking, this may look like John going out to shoot pool once a week with his work buddies, while his wife gladly supports this outing because she understands the activity meets his social needs. She, on the other hand, gets together with her sisters bi-weekly to enjoy a hot latte in their local coffee shop. John fully supports this as he understands this is her need for social time. That we often spend a lot of time with our spouses, but we also need to socialize with people outside of the relationship. You trust each other, and this is a big one. Another sign that your relationship is healthy and happy is that the relationship sits on the foundation of trust. You trust your partner and they trust you, at least most of the time. If something comes up and you're feeling insecure, you can go to your partner and have a conversation about it without it erupting in a huge fight. Trust is based on feeling secure in and of oneself. The more secure you feel about yourself, the more trusting you tend to be. However, even the most secure person may struggle with trusting their partner if that person has broken their trust before. If that's the case, it takes time to build up trust again. There's mutual respect. Respect is a big deal in a partnership. One thing that I remember as a child growing up is I never felt as though there was respect between either of my parents or that they even respected their own children. And we learned how to respect each other from the home we come from. To respect someone means that you treat them well, even if you don't agree with their beliefs or actions. In the relationship, respect can look like you and your partner honoring and cherishing each other despite flaws, disagreements, various beliefs, and so on. It means no name calling, no belittling, no making fun or shaming, no gaslighting, and no screaming at each other. Aim for and draw a boundary line on mutual respect. When your relationship is healthy, it helps your journey. How do you think your relationship rates according to these five signs? Are you feeling pretty good about it? Or is there room for improvement? Keep in mind that if you're not happy with your relationship, there is a chance that some of this unhappiness is actually you projecting your own unhappiness onto the relationship. It happens quite often, so it's a good idea to take some time to evaluate your own happiness level, not just the relationship. If you find yourself stuck, know that there are some really great therapists out there who can help you in your relationship get unstuck and thrive. It takes time and dedication, and it's worth it. You are worth experiencing more joy and peace along your journey. So do whatever works for you individually as a couple. And remember this, that we live in an age where what we're dealing with is people who are mature adults but are in relationships that felt comfortable to them when they were children. And often we have to learn how to communicate more effectively and how to respect our partners in our relationships to have a healthy relationship.